Biggie, Erick Sermon, Redman, K-Solo, Def Squad. To move in those types of circles, you need to be of a certain caliber. And my guest today is 1000% definitely of that caliber. 7 words changed his life and carved his name into the history books of hip-hop. The most beautifulest thing in this world. But before we begin, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell to receive the notifications, like, share, and get involved in the comment section below. And now on the 521 channel, we have none other than Long Island MC, the legend that is Keith Murray. What's happening, bro?
Hold on. Peace. That was a great introduction, but it's called Strong Island.
Only because of JVC Force. Really? Was it Strong Island before that?
It was Strong Island.
Well, I never
They
heard of
just
it.
put it on record. It's always
Okay.
been Strong Island.
All right, see, because we're obviously from London, we don't know that. But now we know that.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now we know. Now we know. You're a very unique character. You've got a different type of energy to a lot of people that I meet, right? And I believe that people that have that kind of personality that you have, right, they don't just get it at the age of 16, 17, whatever, or when they decide to go into something. That comes from a very young age. So what was going on in your youth and that really put you on that direction where, I mean, were you kind of just wild from very early? Were you uncontrollable?
I don't know if I'm wild and uncontrollable. I'm very...
In a good way, though.
Oh, well, I'm very contained and poised. I get the energy from my family. My grandmother, Dolly Mae and Buddha, my 5 uncles, and my father, Keith Omar Murray Sr., Bubba. I'm Keith Omar Murray Jr., Baby Bubba, Keysmo, Hubba Bubba, if you're nasty. I actually played sports my whole life. Soccer, basketball, track, and wrestling. So I get energy from the room and the energy around me. I feed off the energy around me.
Obviously, you came a little bit later from the days of Rakim and all of those guys. So you saw that there was things progressing. But from a young age, because I'm guessing you didn't start in 92 and make a big record in 93.
Most Beautiful Things real single came out in 94 December. First, my single was Swing It Over Here with Erick and Redman in 90, then Hostile in like 92, my first single with Erick Sermon off his solo album. But before that, I just was going to school and had to be in the house before the lights came on the street lights. And then I ventured off into the streets when my mother passed away, my little sister. And then I became a member of the L.O.D around that time in like high school, 9th grade. And then I just went to college, and then I had to do some stenches in the penitentiary. But I was quiet, an introvert. My mother died, I got loud and boisterous.
So that was a reaction, really, more than anything.
Yeah, I would do my dirt in the streets, but I was quiet with it.
Right.
And then I got loud and wow. But the penitentiary sat me down.
Was there something that happened when you were young that made you decide, like, you know what, rap is for me? What took you on that path?
My uncle, the original B-boy T-Roy, would dress hip-hop. He would do hip-hop with his friend Richie, and he would get dressed and go to the parties, and I would be standing on the porch watching them leave. And then he gave me the first album, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, The Greatest Adventures of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. I learned that album. Then I let somebody hold the tape, one of his friends, and he got upset. And like, yo, that wasn't your tape to give away. And then I realized how sacred hip-hop was.
To a lot of people that weren't there in Strong Island and, you know, in New York and stuff, hip-hop became a culture to them. But to you, you were born into it. Do you know what I mean? To everyone that was in those areas.
I became into it. I was born into the music my grandparents and mother was listening to. And then I would listen to Mr. Magic and DJ Red Alert and Marley Marl on the radio. And I would learn all the records that they would play. And I was listening to Ed Lover and Dr. Dre at Mega Evans College in Long Island. College radio played a big part in it too, and Stony Brook radio. They used to play reggae. My mother and father split up before I could remember, and they moved me to Central Islip, to my grandmother's house. Then my mother moved into Carlton Park, a poverty-stricken environment, and then she became significant others with a Jamaican dread named Les. And at 12 years old, I would listen to all the Jamaican music also, and watch Bob Marley and Yellow Man and Ninja Man and things of that nature. And then I became friends with Shinehead later. But yeah, the reggae and the hip hop, Run DMC and Michigan Smiley and people like that. And my uncle, Mikey, Jamaican Mikey, had all the Jamaican records, and my father, Les, that pops, had the record. So I would listen to the Bob Marley on the cassette tape. My sister Demetria D. Ski she's 2 years older than me, but she really listens to hip hop, and she's a B girl. So her and Uncle T-Roy really shaped and molded me to who I am.
Did you ever kind of witness any other battles that were going on, like on the blocks, and was there anything that we haven't heard about that you witnessed that you could tell us about?
Well, I also have an uncle, God bless his dead, named Born True, who was a bodyguard for Big Daddy Kane around the time I was 16 years old, and he would take me around the projects in Brooklyn, and I would battle everybody. But before then, my Uncle T-Roy used to wake me up out my sleep to battle rappers that would come around the block and stuff. And then I would listen to Kumo D and LL Cool J have a battle. And LL Cool J would battle, I had to go at Ice-T, MC Shan. So those battles was monumental. And Busy B and Kumo D, I listened to the tapes. And Busy B was going at, not Kumo D, Kumo D was battling Busy B. He was like, listen, Busy B, I don't mean to be bold, but you're bobbity, it's your hole. And then Busy B was like, that's why I'm on this D, like that, and stuff like that. I would listen to the tapes. Yeah. Then you had UTFO and Roxanne Shante, that legendary battle, that shaped and molded me.
Roxanne Shante, for me, is still probably the best female MC ever. I know people have evolved, but because of that monumental thing that happened back then, it's carved in my memory forever. You know what I mean? UTFO, all of that stuff. I used to love Kango Kid as well.
Kango? I don't think that was one of my best friends, God bless the dead. I cried like
really?
a baby when he died.
Well, can you tell us anything about him?
He was the guy who taught me how to brand yourself. He's the guy.
Okay, so before Erick Sermon came along, there was a couple other people basically showing you how to become you.
JVC Force Kirk Ozell was the first producer that I got with. I did a demo with him.
Right.
But Uncle Bourne was the one who used to play the records, and we used to rap on the microphone at his house. Mm. But then that's after Kirk Ozell. I did a demo with him. And I was on the same label with the Jungle Brothers at one time. And they gave me advance, but it never went through. And I used to rap with a dude named Mark D. So me and Mark D was a crew. And then some guys came and got Mark D, and I was a crew, but they didn't want Keith Murray, they wanted him. So I went back home, and he went and made a record.
How do situations like that kind of make you feel? Like knowing that you got something, but people are interested in somebody else.
I never thought I'd get a record deal. I was just rapping and rap because it was a hobby.
Right. How old were you at this time? I
was like 12, 13, 14.
All right.
15, then 16 when I was with Big Daddy Kane and Uncle Bourne.
So you never kind of visualized yourself at that age that, I could be like LL. I could be like...
I was them. You couldn't tell me I wasn't them, but I never thought about getting a record deal. I was in Long Island. It was far as a little kid going to school and playing sports and just going to school. That's all that was on my mind. And then I told my cousin Driss, God bless the dead, that passed away in the shootout, yo, let's go to Uncle Bourne and get a record deal. I was probably like 16, 17. I was 15, 16 when I thought, yo, let's go to Uncle Bourne and get a deal. So I had to be around the environment before I could even say, yo, let me get a record deal. You just don't say stuff like that.
Right. So when it came, it kind of caught you off guard?
The record deal?
Yeah.
It was a progression.
Okay.
when I met Erick Sermon, I got the Kirk Gazelle, I had the deal. My mother said she heard on the radio that I had a deal. I was like, no, not me, it wasn't then. But she probably did hear saying that I was signed with Kirk Gazelle, the same label as Jungle Brothers, because she listened to the radio all the time. Mm-hmm. But I had a deal that fizzled out. And then I just went back to the block, rapped, because it was a hobby. Went to the parties, rapped, at school, rapped. The teachers would take me and, God bless the dead, one of my best friends, Shakim, would bring us in front of the class in 8th grade, and he would do the beatbox, rap, I'd do the beatbox, he'd rap. And I just stuck with it more than anybody else around my area. When I was rapping, they wasn't. And then I met Erick Sermon through Solo. I asked him to take me to Erick Sermon's house. Then I went to Erick Sermon's house, and he came to the door eventually. I waited for about 10, 15 minutes or something because he couldn't hear us. He was making beats. Then he came to the door, and Solo said, "This is Keith Murray. He want to come rap for you." So I went in the basement. Erick was playing beats, and I started reciting rhymes I knew. And then I never left E. I was with him for 2 years before I got on the microphone. He went to Atlanta. He broke up with EPMD, went to Atlanta for a year. So I just was still writing and stuff, going to selling drugs and going to school. Then he came back, and then I started going around him in the studio. And then he eventually put me on Swinging Over Here with Redman, and then Hostile was a single, and he did a video. Then he took me to Jive Records when he finished recording me.
When you were around Erick Sermon and the breakup of EPMD happened, I'm guessing you must have heard before the rest of the world heard.
Well, I didn't really know what happened, but I would be at Erick's house, and the hit squad would come. They would be getting ready for tour. DOS Effects, K-Solo, Redman, EPMD. I would watch Erick go shopping. He would come back, pack the bags. They all pack the bags, go on a tour bus, and I would follow the tour bus in a hoopty with me and Erick's cousin Derek. Right. To like 2 or 3 shows out of state.
Just going back to the battling days, you mentioned the Kool Moe Dee and the Busy Bee battle. See, battling was a lot different back then because it seemed like one person was battling to get the crowd hype while the other one was battling to basically diss the other rapper. Whereas now, battling is a whole different thing.
Well, but one was battling to diss the rapper, one was battling to get the crowd hype because they had 2 different styles. Right. Busy Bee was the crowd hyper. Mm-hmm. Kool Moe Dee was the battle rapper. Mm-hmm. So it was 2 different styles. Mm-hmm. Busy Bee wasn't the go at you type of guy, but nobody could compare to him when it was time for crowd participation.
Do you think Kool Moe Dee influenced battle rap for whatever is going on now?
Whoever was aware of him, definitely. Right. Whoever was aware of him, but he is one of the forefathers. Him, LL, was the forefather. Yeah. And then you got Tim Doyle from the Bronx who stood up for New York against Compton, F. Compton, stuff like that.
That record, man, it shook a lot of people up.
Well, Roxanne Shante, she was going at it with it. She was the #1 female victor against guys.
Everybody.
Lighting them up.
Did you ever witness any of that with Shante? Like personally?
Not personally. I was too young. I just listened to everything and I knew all the words. Yeah. I'm like hip-hop's biggest fan.
We all know that it's competitive. Hip-hop, all this stuff is all competitive. You improve and whatever. What's your opinion on that? Do you think, like, the way the whole scene is elevated, the lyricism, the skills that come into it, whatever, it all kind of started from that moment of battling?
Kool Herc brought it from Jamaica to New York.
Okay.
And the Jamaicans always ranked on each other. They always
the sound system's in it. That's all it was.
The guys on the mic would call themselves DJs, but they would go at it with each other, talk about each other's mother and everything.
No holds
bars. But it was friendly competition.
You obviously had a notorious battle a few years ago with Fredro.
Yes.
I'm guessing it's been talked about over and over. So you're probably bored of it.
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right.
Fredro was one of my good friends.
Right.
So the guys who signed us to do the battle was doing it in Atlanta first.
Okay.
We was in Atlanta. I was ready. They didn't have the money. Then they came back a year. Fredro was out there by himself. Then they came back a year later and did it in Brooklyn. I waited 45 minutes to get in the building, and I waited 4 hours to get to the stage. By then, I was drinking, smoking, and whatever was in my system kicked up. So I went out there, and I remembered the rhymes, but I wasn't punchy and on point. So I kind of defeated myself at that time. But if you listen to my rhymes, listen to his rhymes, you could compare who is more disrespectful and more like lyrically inclined. I'm taking nothing from him, but at the same time, I give him like a 70. But if you go back and listen, I reign supreme.
Yeah, I need to go back and listen to that again.
But I watch it. That's not Keith Murray. I couldn't sit there for 4 hours. I didn't have the poise. I didn't know. The battle rappers say, yo, I've been there, done that. I see where he was at.
What I remember from when I watched the battle when you were involved was the energy more than the rhyming. I'm a lyricist, so I'm waiting for things to catch me. And if I'm being completely honest, Fredro got my vote.
Yeah, because I was zonked out.
Do you want to explain that?
I was high and drunk and I didn't have energy.
Well, you had the energy when you were pushing people around a little bit.
That was what I had, but I didn't have no energy to deliver. Like I'm talking now, I'm very clairvoyant. I wasn't clairvoyant at all.
So would you do a rematch if it was possible?
I'd do a rematch anytime with anybody, anywhere, but I know what not to do. And I won't sit there for 4 hours and wait. I told them, yo, I'll go to the hotel, go to sleep. No, don't go to sleep. I won't bash the establishment, but the establishment was not professional.
Oh, so basically you thought you were just going to turn up and get on the stage.
I thought I was going to go in that building and get on that stage and rock.
That's a deal breaker already, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 hours.
And I couldn't forfeit. I would never forfeit. But I will go right now.
I mean, look, just as a performer, if I've had to wait for longer than I've had to wait, then it kills the vibe for me.
Yeah.
So.
And then now you got the crowd listening. So they said, yo, call Erick Sermon. Corny ass lines. Get out of here. Them lines is corny as hell. Go listen to my shit. You crazy? I chop heads off immediately.
Okay.
But I won't sit around no 4 hours. I won't do that. And I won't drink and I won't smoke and none of that. I'll be prepared. And if they ain't prepared, I'm not going on.
You mentioned Big Daddy Kane earlier. I mean, Big Daddy Kane was like a god to a lot of us. Is still a god to all of us.
Was.
No, but you know what I'm saying. When we grew up, when we were growing up, and he came in.
Was.
Here we go.
I'm listening.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so Big Daddy Kane was and is a god to a lot of us. Anyone that knows about hip hop cannot mention hip hop without having Big Daddy Kane's name in it.
Wait till I come sit back down. What are you doing?
Well, you said you're listening.
No, but goddamn, baby, go on.
Obviously, Big Daddy Kane was like a god to us and still is to a lot of us. We said that, we've been there, right? But for you, as a youngster, doing anything of any sort with Big Daddy Kane there, how did that feel?
Uncle Boone edged me on at the diner on his birthday, and I rhymed in front of him. I got the DVD, I just never put it out. But I know all Kane lyrics. I was in Ain't No Half Stepping video.
You were in it?
Yeah, that's me in the sky blue North Carolina hat in the front with the gray hoodie. You don't see my face, but you see my silhouette.
Anybody who's watching this, like, go back and check that video again. Do you want to tell them which one it is again?
Ain't No Half Stepping.
And Keith Murray's in the video there. All right.
Stepping.
So there, we didn't know about that. I noticed earlier you mentioned L.O.D. We've heard you mention that in records and loads of things and whatever in the past. Who is L.O.D.?
L.O.D. is a group of young men who gave themselves a name and they called us a gang, my childhood friends.
Was it rap or street gang?
Is a group of young men that hung out together.
Okay.
That gave themselves a name and they called us a street gang.
Okay.
Cal Vicious, D2, God Bless the Dead Bud, God Bless the Dead Apple, God Bless the Dead Two-Face, God Bless the Dead Men at Arms, and WAP is the leader. He said he ain't the leader. Then you got LQ, then you got Fantab, God Bless the Dead Psych Dog, Olu, Africa, God Bless the Dead Driss.
So how many eventually?
There was like 30 of us.
And what about the Razorcons?
The Razorcons is, I'm from Crown Heights, Brooklyn also.
Okay.
And the Razorcons is me, Driz, Rudy Lowe, Psych Dog. Psych Dog grandmother lived on Prospect between Ralph and Buffalo. And you got the Decepticons, a crew from Brooklyn. So we are the junior Decepticons. We used to carry the orange box cutters. Cut people braids out their hair, the Razorcons.
Okay.
I carried the razor in my mouth and all that, like a Hostile video.
I seen a video of you on one of your videos with the razor in your mouth.
Hostile, Erick Sermon.
Yeah, Erick Sermon one.
Too Short tells a story on YouTube about it on Vlad. No.
Did you do the sort of flips and everything with the tongue?
Of course, I did it in the video.
You said earlier about K Solo introduced you. I mean, first of all, to be in the presence of someone like K Solo, for me, that's deep. Like, you know, because like when he done Spellbound, that was just like cemented. One of the best. Simple. Yeah. But then to turn up at Erick Sermon's house, obviously, it's like, wow. Erick Sermon as a producer, I personally feel like he doesn't get enough plaudits for what he does. He's one of the sickest producers.
Because he doesn't flaunt it. He doesn't go out there and push it in people's face. He do what he do, how he do what he do. And all the producers that may get more recognition in the press learned from him. So if he had a publicist and he was the one to do interviews or every magazine on an annual basis to let the world know who don't know or who's in control of giving those accolades, but he felt that he get what he deserved, and you know, by the grace of God, it is what it is.
But he's still here, and he's still making. I mean, a couple of years ago or a few years ago, he done that track with.
He invented the remix. Puffy got his style from Erick Sermon.
Oh, really?
The remix king. Look at all the remixes Erick have done.
I mean,
created the remixes.
So are you saying that Erick Sermon was the first person to do a remix?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm saying he's the king of the remix because he did so many popular stars and so much remixes.
What does he mean to you?
He created Keith Murray. It means the world to me. Without Erick Sermon, there'd be no Keith Murray.
Okay.
So I probably would have came through another way, but I came through his way. So that's what it is.
But say Erick Sermon didn't get anywhere in his career, but he helped you, and then you went on to be a multi-millionaire because of what Erick taught you.
Erick Sermon didn't get nowhere in his career?
No, I'm saying say. I'm not saying he didn't.
I know.
Right?
I'm repeating what you're saying, but I'm trying to make it clear.
Yeah. I'm just saying, imagine he didn't get anywhere. Of course, we know he got everywhere, right? I'm saying, imagine if he didn't get anywhere, but he basically made you who you are, like you said. So if you got in a position where you like were really wealthy from the music and whatever, and he obviously helped you, would you look after him for the rest of his life kind of thing, if you could?
Of course. And I'm, in a sense, looking up for him for the rest of his life by him being the music component and me being the lyrical component and furthering the torch everywhere I go for Def Squad and always paying homage and letting the world know who know, and I'm jogging their memory, and people who don't know how you know of Keith Murray, and now if you don't know of Keith Murray, you're a potential fan, and he put me on rhythms and made me who I am to know how to make records properly.
The reason I asked that is basically because you are a Gemini, right? And from my experience of Geminis, the loyalty, and they're very, like, they wear their heart on their sleeve. They say things as it is. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to bring out the fact of the loyalty. So I'm glad you answered the way you did. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
So that's what I want to...
emotions on my sleeve, and I'm very loyal and very generous.
Okay. And just basically you say things as they are. You don't sugarcoat nothing. You just tell it as it is.
As they should be.
Right. Let's move on to your biggest album to date, which is obviously the most beautifulest thing in this world, and the title track. I mean, that track just made a lot of noise. Like, it changed. I mean, I remember when 279 used to be playing in the clubs, and we were there, and that would drop, and the whole place would just erupt. Do you know what I mean? We were young. We were all amped up, and we were just like, wow, what is this? So there was a handful of tracks that got played, and that was one of them, and it always tore the dance down. Always. Do you know what I mean? How does it feel to know that you made one of the biggest records of that era that still lives strong in a lot of people's minds today?
It feels like a sense of accomplishment, and I'm grateful because the record still takes me to places that I have never been, or it takes me to places that I've been 3 and 4 times, and it helps me take care of my 4 daughters.
When all of that was going on, you must have toured pretty much the whole world. So
On my 3rd passport.
What was the most memorable country you visited, and why?
London, Copenhagen, South Africa, around the USA, Japan, because of the reception I received from people reciting the words of the records but not being able to speak English. They don't know 2 words of English, but they know that record. Verbatim.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So did you ever stand on that stage and have everybody reciting your lyrics where you didn't need to?
I do that all the time.
Okay.
Yo, it's funny because a writer said that I didn't know the words to my records.
What?
But I did that on purpose. Idiots. I'm there like an orchestrator.
So you could literally go blah, 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 blah.
Say nothing, the whole record. And
The whole
he had the audacity to say I didn't know the words to my
You want to
records.
name him?
I don't know his name. I will never know his name, and I hope the pleasure of never meeting him.
So what actually inspired that record? I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking that is because when I was hearing people telling me about the record, because I shut off for a while I was recording, yeah, and I kept hearing it, as in from people going, "Yeah, have you heard that? Have you heard that?" And to me, when I read the title, The Most Beautifullest Thing in This World, I thought it was like an R&B song or something, so I wasn't really that interested.
And the name, Keith Murray. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really that interested. Because back then it was like everyone wanted to be a murderer or the lyrical killer or whatever, and you come out with that title. What inspired that? Because that kind of changed the way people thought a little bit.
That goes back to the record Hostile. I said, the most beautifulest thing in this world is my notion for murderous poetry and motion. Mm-hmm. So Eric took that line and put me in the studio and said, Murray, say this line. And then say, just like that, I get in you. I couldn't say it. And we was arguing for 20, 30 minutes. I was very frustrated. I couldn't say it. So he said, okay, say this piece. I'm going to record you. Stop. Say this piece. I'm going to record you. Eric put it together. He brought that line out.
These days, we have a lot of beat makers. So he was an actual producer. He produced what you became.
He was the beat maker and producer.
Right.
Is.
Right. Still. I mean, I was going to say earlier, that track that he done with Joel Ortiz, Make Room. My God. The bass on that, you know what I'm saying? It's
he's
like
the master of the bass line.
But also
the master of the bass line. Him and Raphael Sadiq is the 2 bass line from Tony. The bass line king.
But then for him to also be able to recognize the talent like Joel, that like Joel's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a good friend of mine too. He's a beast.
You're gonna do something with him?
Definitely.
In the pipeline for this album coming, or?
Well, we see each other sometimes, and I have a list of individuals that I have to go get and record with. So he's on my bucket list.
I heard in an interview that you done like earlier that you were talking about we're not good to each other.
Well, we as like people of color don't stick together. I don't know what it is, but we need to treat each other better and support each other more. Don't be afraid to support each other because we need each other.
Why do you think they don't? Or, I mean, it's not, I think it's just a worldwide epidemic.
Sun in the water, hateration. They doubt you, they put stigmas on you. Like, I don't know, it's something that's in the hood. Like, come on, relax with it. Let it go. Do better.
Were you like that when you were younger and you've just matured with age and realized?
I was never like that.
Okay, good. Like, because I see that all the time, and I try and explain to people.
You
When
see it, right?
Oh, all the time, bro. I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like, if they support each other, we all benefit. Do you understand? But they make it so much harder work.
My grandmother says strangers treat you better than your own family, though.
Well, yeah, exactly.
My mom always said a good man is never honored in his own Yankee, his own town.
Yeah, I think that's a worldwide epidemic. Like, the people that you're closest to
It's
are the
worse
ones...
than the coronavirus.
It's destructive, isn't it?
Very.
See, what I like, the beauty of watching how everything progressed in America, not just New York, but in America, is... And this kind of gets on my nerves a little bit, because in certain places, especially where we are...
Well,
and
the
around
South
people
stick
we know,
together.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And they've all elevated. And even now, they're all appearing on each other's podcasts.
Some of them
whatever.
grovel, but a lot of them stick together. Good-natured. That's
even-
my parents, my grandparents from South Carolina.
But see, even if they don't get on, they still jump on each other's business and do business together.
Support. I'm filled with love, but the hate cut me deep.
Actually, at this point, maybe I should ask if you want to spit a verse.
Mr. Keith Murray, I'm an MC Top Goon. I scoop chicks like ice cream. My nickname should be Spoon. Are you really who you say you are in your rhymes? Are you a pathological liar like all of the time? I got timeless bars and infinite flows, but nowadays apparently anything goes. Hoes sound like niggas, niggas dressed like hoes, and phony frontin' foes all get exposed. I don't give a goddamn, no if, no maybes. I do my job well, so F you, I pay me. I'm different, I don't fit in. I set myself apart from these rappers who ain't got no respect for the art. So you see, it ain't no Biggie like Smalls. My duty of it all is be the beauty of it all. The way I do it is counterintuitive. So fly in the booth, I need a stewardess. Mind traveler, chronicler, dope flow chronicler. All connoisseurs concur. I sell the 7 seas and lighten continents. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at your peasantness. It's all heartfelt the way I'm melting this. 18,000 degrees Celsius. Out of this world, you know, I'm a rocket. Anytime they blog it, Murray a hot topic. There's no perfect people, just perfect moments. And this here moment feel perfect to you, don't it?
Yeah, bro, wicked. Yeah, wicked still got it, bro. Yeah.
We move like the blob, block the block. Yeah. Get down and lay your ass down in a pine box.
All right. Back in the days, I remember when we were listening to
back
your records.
Back in the days, I'm not a young, I'm not a kid. Okay.
Well, when we were listening to your records, what struck me was the use of words. Like everyone else said analyze, you said analytical. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Someone would say temp, and you'd be like, nah, temporary. Mm-hmm. So you'd extend everything that other people were doing. So you had this.
I don't speak in fragments.
Right. So explain why you went that. You know why that happened. Was that on purpose or accidental?
A casual thug. I'm the Black James Bond. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Black Silver Surfer. I surf also.
Okay.
I'm the original African booty scratcher, Mr. Keith Murray. As they say abroad. And I don't spend no chips on no money-hungry, stinking-ass broad. I speak proper English.
Oh, you finished?
I'm the uneducated, educated Negro. Never ignorant getting goals accomplished. The nigga with an A.
Oh, bro, sorry. When you said that, suddenly I got UTFO in my head with uneducated rapper. Oh my God!
No, the educated
rapper. Sorry, educated rapper.
Please.
Yeah. Sorry. It just suddenly the word stuck to me.
Tricky Nicky, get this guy.
No. Because what? Are
you hungry? Do you need something to eat?
I do actually.
What about these nuts? Let me stop.
No. You know what it was?
What's this Roundtree?
No.
Roundtree?
No. You know what it was. So
what was it?
Right. Okay. Because I think I think when Roxanne was dissing them, she said uneducated. That's where it was in my head.
Listen,
That's
King
where
Go,
I got it.
I don't think it's your fresh because you're about the matter with no experience. You should know. She doesn't need a guy like you. She needs a guy like me with the IQ. And she takes to my rap because my rap is best. The educated rapper MD would never fess. But when I paid her, she paid me no mind. She said, did Roxanne say dictionary breath? She's crazy.
Oh, bro, that's taking me back to my youth. I was in boarding school when I was buying those records.
You was?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Oh, bro, I was in boarding school.
Why?
I didn't have family, bro. I was
For
separated
real?
from my
You was
family when I
orphan?
wasn't an orphan, but I didn't see my family from the age of 3. So, like, I
was in. My mother put us in a foster home.
Oh, right.
Cause she was like living a life of rally, shooting intravenous drugs, and my grandmother, Clara Buddha Hall, said, "Where he at? Go get him." She came and got us, so I would not know my family to this day.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So that's something we don't know about you.
Yes. My grandmother came and got us from a foster home.
All of you, all the kids, all the siblings.
Me, my sister Demetria and Erica, my other brother Daryl Murray.
But you weren't separated though; you were together.
Yeah, they put us in the first home together.
Okay, all right.
And I used to be on the phone with my mother. Mom, when you coming to get us?
Are you serious?
She used to check in on us, though.
Okay. So how did, I mean, as a kid, having to call your mom, I mean...
No, she called us. I was a kid.
No, what I'm saying is when you're talking on the phone, you know, when it's dawned on you that, yo, I ain't got my mom here with me and whatever, how did that hit you?
They dropped us off. My grandmother said, go get them.
Mm.
I remember they used to make us read the Bible every night.
Right.
And my mother would call.
If there was one thing that you learned from that experience, what would that be?
Just communicate with your family. Stay in touch with your family. Let everybody know where you at, even though if they don't have the communication skills you got. I'm the guy who put everybody on the phone. I reach out all the time. I seek them out.
Oh, sorry, I need to shake your hand for that. Seriously, because like the number of times that I've said all it takes is to communicate, and people just don't get it, bro.
Proper
People
communication, so true love can exist.
They don't. Your use of vocabulary, I mean, is there a teacher that's responsible for...
The lyrical vocabulars. Oh, Mr. Watkins and Mr. Martz, my science and my basketball coaches. They was the 2 coaches, English and science.
And they encourage that?
Social studies. I love social studies.
All right, wicked.
They didn't encourage it. They teach us. So,
right. But did they see something and think, you know?
Well, my guidance counselors was black, and they did not set me up for college.
Right.
I went to college because my grandmother said, you going to go get a job or you going to go to school. I choose education over working for somebody and became an entrepreneur. 50 minutes went by fast.
It did.
I could be here all day with you. I could.
Was hip-hop a way out for you?
It sideswiped me. I could have been a doctor, a lawyer, or a professional sports player, or educator. It just was another avenue that I gravitated to, and it rewarded me for me studying it for so long. Not a way out, a way in.
A way in, you know.
Don't look to hip-hop just to go into hip-hop. Get some accolades under your belt. Go to education. Do a lot of things. Just don't be, I'm a rapper, be an ignorant individual. No. It would never work for you.
In the early days when we were all getting into...
Why you bring one of them hats? Hats is hot.
Sorry.
All I do is with fatigue.
I've not got enough. You know what? I'll think about it.
I'll be here till the 7th.
I might be able to get you one by
Might
then.
is a conjunctive word.
No, because I got to order them in and then print them.
Well, give me that order you want.
All right, as long as you don't mind wearing my sweat.
I have since put in the cleaners. That hat is hot.
I was going to ask you how rap money changed your life.
It didn't change my life.
Okay.
I mean, it let me buy the things I wanted, and it put me in another tax bracket, but I gave a lot of the money away, and I still make unaccountable amounts of bread, fortunately, by the grace of God. Money doesn't change you. If you are who you are, don't let money change you, ever. I told you about N.O.R.E and them. Oh, I ain't tell you that.
No, you said it in the other interview before.
Ah, my goodness.
Do you want to say that?
The bells.
Go on, tell the story.
That was atrocious. I saw N.O.R.E. His man put his arm on me. I was going through security. He's like, "Oh, we're not with him." Then I saw N.O.R.E. We was homeboys. I came out the laboratory. He gave it to my son. It was about time for that show. I shouldn't have said it. He was like, he didn't say nothing to me. Whoa, that little bit of money you're making is nothing. I got goosebumps. Look at these goosebumps. Nothing, N.O.R.E. You big teeth piece of shit. Ever disrespect your motherfucking brother? Me and Capone is tight. I told N.O.R.E. to go get Capone. He was with Busta Rhymes. I said, where Capone? Oh, he ain't in the picture no more. Go get him. I'll put CNN back together. Ask him. DJ F&N is my man. He asked me to do the show in Manhattan. I said, well, we won't be the same with Erick Sermon. Give him myself. Then he said, yo. I said, why N.O.R.E. didn't call me? He said, it's my show too. Then he called me, so it was canceled. Cool. N.O.R.E., you gotta be ashamed of yourself. Ugh, the nerve of you. You bloody wanker.
Sorry, I had to go off camera for that one.
Geezer! Oh.
So I take it you don't really like N.O.R.E.
I love N.O.R.E., but you got to do better. I am a drink champ and a reefer king. Mr. Keith Murray, Lord knows I do my thing. I do my thing. Something shiny, he's my good.
You know what you sound like now? What's it? Wizard of Oz. The lion.
But I have courage. I go in the jungle. The lion's a liar. I'll come out with a lion coat.
See, this is what I'm saying. Hip hop and music entertainment needs more characters like you.
Too. I'm doing movies.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have yet to grace the stage of Starr. Burt Bedell, God bless the dead. He was my accountant in Manhattan. Burt Bedell, he's the accountant to everybody. He named me Keith Murray, the star of stage and screen. Hollywood, here I come. I'm really not Keith Murray. I'm Keith Murphy. Eddie Murphy's, God bless the dead, Charlie. Eddie Murphy's little brother.
You know, I met Eddie Murphy years ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Uncle T-Roy grew up with him. They gave him a glove and everything. We grew up on the same block in Roosevelt. He's from Roosevelt. Long Island, strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you not kind of tap these people to try and get you into the movies and all that?
Not because of that?
No, tap them.
I got an agent. I'm going to have an agent. I got a manager. I got all that.
All right. So you're in. So you're
I'm not in yet. I did some movies sometimes momentarily, but Hollywood.
Tyrese.
My God, but New York do movies too. And Method Man said, Murray. I called him one day. I heard his voice on the TV, and he was in a movie called where you do The Coroner.
Yeah.
He did a movie. He was
Okay.
like, I called him. He always picked the phone up for me. He said, Mary, you could do it because you know your environment and you remember your lines. You're very smart. You could do it.
Your reputation, like, I mean,
Supersedes itself.
It really does.
I'm a very approachable guy. I'm not.
But why have
violent.
people got it so wrong?
Because of the records and the history.
But in
they
your
only
records,
know what they know and what they seen.
But don't you think part of it is to do with what you portray in your lyricism, where you talk about, you know,
That's
just,
my life.
Okay.
I would never change that.
All right.
I don't portray that. I live
So do you
that.
think some of that is basically people hearing your records and then assuming that
That
you're that
goes back
character?
to them black people who only are heard to the negativity. There's more to me than that.
So where you've had like situations, because I heard there was running in with Craig Mack, but it wasn't anything
That's
bad.
a lie. Never
So
had a run-in with Craig
okay,
Mack.
so
That what the lie detector chose, that was a lie.
okay,
N.O.R.E.
okay, and
N.O.R.E.
and the Prodigy one.
Oh, so, yeah, that's a story in itself. He went on a record and said, yo, I don't care about how much weed you talking about, all that spaced out stuff, ba-da-da-da-da. Havoc, mind you, I saw him in the tunnel. He said, yo, we're not talking about you. We can go to Hot 97. I said, no, it's cool. We was at the tunnel one time. I was with L.O.D. We was in the bathroom. And Plus was like, look at Prodigy. I was like, yeah, look at it. He was like, what? I was like, what? That Joe and them was in there. So we dispersed. So we went outside. We was on a corner. And he was telling his friends, yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time. We're like, time what? My man Snuffy snuffed him. Bow! I snapped him. Bow, we hit the floor. He jumped up, started running. Axe and Horse and them beat one of the twins, God bless his dead, under the cab. Trigger the Gambler was saw it. He's always
Trigger the Gambler as well?
No, he saw it. He was just there.
Okay.
And police said, take it around the corner, because I was chasing Prodigy, and I came back. I couldn't catch him. Then he gonna say in the book he was gonna get a gun. You gonna get a gun and shoot who in public? then everybody know he was lying and stuff. But then Havoc never was in it. It was Prodigy's mouth that got him punched out and beat up and smacked around.
So how did that end?
I was at the Jones Beach, and one of his mans was said, Prodigy's in there. Busta Rhymes is in there. He said, Murray, come in. We got to squash it. I went in, talked to him, took a picture with Busta Rhymes and him. It's on my Instagram page that got hacked.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's squashed, and then I'm glad we squashed it before he passed away.
Yeah.
Over.
That was a sad loss.
They said he went to Vegas and ate an egg and it regurgitated and he suffocated. Autopsies. Yes, look it up.
Wow.
Look it up. Messed me up.
You know...
but he was always talking about morbidity.
And obviously there was a little bit of something going on with Dame Dash, but again, I don't know...
Okay, so... Me, 50 Grand, and Erick Skinner from Jive was at Sweetwater's, Maria Davis and Mary J. Blige. They asked me to do the record. First of all, me and 50 Grand was at the tunnel. I was driving the Lexus Eric gave me. I took over the lease. We was looking at some Dunks. Bang! Hit a car. Got out the car. The Lexus hood was bigger than the windshield. I was like this. I couldn't barely see. It happened to be Biggs.
Okay.
He started waving down police. I'm like, no, chill. I got no license. Goosebumps. Got no license. I gave him the office number to Erick Sermon's office because Erick Sermon was the manager and the producer. He had Chris and Stephanie in the office, me and Redman. So I gave him the number. Whatever happened. I'm at the little club. Mary J and Brandy there. Mary J asked me to do the Most Beautiful. I'm saying the Most Beautiful, the record skipper. So I'm saying, fuck the DJ. I get off stage, somebody hit me in the eye. Wham! It's Dame Dash. Bang, bang, bang. We stopped battle. 50 Grand hit him in the eye with a Moet bottle. Bang! Gave him stitches. He went to Jive and asked for like 10 grand for the gashes. We didn't do that. I mean, we did it, but it was a fight. Dame Dash and me cool now. But Biggs said he knocked Keith Murray out. He told fucking one of the bloggers, what's his name? Not Jack Thriller. Combat Jack.
Okay,
God bless his day. He said he knocked Keith Murray out. You never knock Keith Murray out. I will put on gloves and we can fight for charity. I texted him on Instagram because he had some clothes and sneakers, and I hit him and was like, yo, I like that bait and switch. Then I was like, what's up with that? Oh, you want round two? You never saw me in your life. You never knocked Keith Murray out. Might have been somebody look like Keith Murray. I would eat you for din. Go up your nose and pick a winner. You bloody winker. Geezer, are you crazy? I would tell you, I would Greco wrestle you. I know jujitsu. I studied under Bruce Lee. He was on the second floor. I was on the first floor. I know crazy. Jay-Z never had a problem. That's my guy. I love Hope. Do the Dame thing, never had a problem. Dame would be like this on the wall. I look at me. I go to Jay, what up, Jay? Because him and Erick Sermon good friends.
Yeah, of course.
Never had a problem with Jay.
Yeah. What about Tupac?
Oh, so you don't know that story?
I know a little bit of it, but all I heard was Tupac had approached you and said, did you do that record about me?
I was at the House of Blues. Me and Redman and my boy Pop. I walked through the crowd, I see Tupac. I said, what up, Pac? We shook hands, walked away. Redman was on a banister. Pop had 2 butter knives. So, it was a dude in a burgundy suit approached me. He said, yo, my homeboy want to know if you talking about him. The crowd was looking. Everybody dispersed. I said, who's your homeboy? He said, Pac. I said, Pac, come here. I just spoke to you. You said nothing. His man was like this. He said, Murray, I got shot 5 times. I was know you talking about me. I said, no, I was talking about love you. This is the time I was beefing with Prodigy. I don't even fuck with Prodigy, Pac. So Pac put his hands between his bodyguard. We shook hands. That was it. Nothing else.
Okay.
Nothing.
End of it.
End of it.
And talking of Pac, I want to ask you something about Biggie. So I read, or I heard somewhere, that you met up with Biggie the day before he died.
Biggie was one of my best friends. We're
Right.
Geminis.
Okay. How long have you known Biggie?
I knew Biggie. Erick Sermon had a video called Hitting Switches.
Mm-hmm.
Puffy shot the video in Manhattan. So I went with Eric to the video, and I had some weed I bought from Harlem. And then Biggie, we started talking, yo, what up, peace? I'm Murray, Biggie. He was like, you got weed? I got weed. He bought some bags for me, and I smoked some with him. I said, business go on. Ever since then, we've been best friends. I would go to Gates, pop out after coming reeing up from uptown to go buy cocaine, to cook it up, to sell it. Mm-hmm. And then we just hanging out on the road and everything.
Okay.
And we became best friends, me, him, and Little C's.
Okay, so I want you to get
And
on
in
this.
L.A., he came to the hotel to see me, Redman, and Eric.
Well, I heard that was the day before.
Day before. I was in the car. I was in the back seat. He was in the passenger seat, and D-Rock was driving because he would take his car to L.A.
Okay.
He said, Murray, I got a show in London. Should I go or stay? I said, go, because you know they don't like you. We didn't go to the Soul Train Awards. Eric knocked on the door, said, hey, yo, got your man dead. I said, who, Big?
So what I want to ask you, of course, I think it fucked a lot of people up.
We was in the room, and D-Mac from L.A., Eric's man, said, yo, I know who did it. Let's go get him. I said, let's load the guns up and go. Somebody getting popped tonight. Nobody wanted to go. They didn't go.
So you were ready to go and deal with it?
I was going to go deal with it. Sis, we talking about big. I need my tea.
So can I ask you?
It's going to get busy.
So
I would have just been coming home right now, or I would have been doing 25 to life.
The day before, obviously he got shot and murdered, he saw you. Did he give any inclination to you that something was happening? That he thought something was going to go off?
Blade. No, I said he asked me, should he come to London?
Mm-hmm. So he had no idea that the attack was... Okay.
And then I had the same lawyer as Puffy. I called my lawyer. The lawyer said Puffy took a helicopter out of there.
Damn. So
my Gemini brother, gone.
Yeah.
Tupac was a Gemini also.
To the rest of the world, they were trying to make out like there was an East Coast, West Coast beef. But to me, being an artist, I was just like, I'm just seeing a handful of people that are involved, but the rest of East Coast and West Coast are getting on with what they're getting on with.
It was starting with Nas and Biggie and Mac 10, and they was throwing the West Coast sign and trying to create division. You know how black people are. But it was no big East Coast, West Coast. It was individuals who was trying to...
So the media just hyped it up to just create more.
The media got a wind of it, but it was individuals who was making it bigger than it was. But it was individuals. So Pac is from New York. He's born in New York.
Mm. Can I ask you about R. Kelly?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, right?
Oh.
So obviously you did the Home Alone track with him, which was massive. Everyone knew about it. And no one can say nothing about R. Kelly being a dope singer, amazing artist and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you obviously heard about all the stuff that's going on. You know what's going on with him in the world. How does it feel now to know that you made them?
Those are no longer allegations.
Yeah.
And I seen a video of R. Kelly say, yo, they should arrest me when it happened. They can't do nothing to me now.
Wow. Talk about narcissism. So how do you feel being involved in that record now? Could you, if you could, would you take yourself away from that situation?
Hell no, that's my record.
Oh, it's
and
your
he
record.
Froze the record way before all this happened.
Okay.
I own 100% of my publishing. Thank you, Erick Sermon. But he froze that record. And he performed that record. He brought me out to the garden one day. Me was there, Jay-Z was there, we performed. But he does my record. He used to every night, my verse. But Rob Love could not get me on them stages.
Did you go to the studio and record it with him?
No, I recorded my part by myself in the studio. I did it. They asked me to do it over. I perfected it. I did the video with him. He was a nice guy in Atlanta at a guy who owns the Atlanta Tribune. Every room was a different theme or continent. This guy, this millionaire. They rented it. Barry Hankerson was his manager, Uncle Barry.
So did you have any, when you were doing the video shoot, was there any inclination like with the girls that were on nothing?
But when you go back and look at Surviving R. Kelly, the girls say incidents occurred afterwards. They be like, I was there, Keith Murray was there. I was like, He said he was abused, though. So it's not mind over matter, it's matter over mind. It is an excuse. When you're mentally ill and you're abused, you act out.
You've done an album with one of my favorite MCs of all time, Canibus. Oh, dude.
Canibus sabotaged that album. We did no promotion. He wouldn't do no shows or nothing.
Oh, you're joking.
He didn't take his medication.
Oh,
I love Canibus. I sat there at that booth. I gave that album my singles. Erick Sermon gave me my records. That was my brainchild, my baby. He would not. He flipped on the publicists and everything. He would not go on the road. He wanted to go to Africa and have guns and dogs. And they love us. Those brothers love us. Africa don't backbite.
But can I just say, because you obviously are connected with LL Cool J as well. LL Cool J is my biggest inspiration. That guy.
Also. I was him until Erick Sermon put us together and we did records and I did remixes and he helped my career to this day. I love LL.
Yeah.
If nobody helped me besides Erick Sermon and Redman's LL.
Yeah, wicked.
And Mary J. Blige and Puffy.
Yeah, I mean, you can sense that.
And Leo Cohen and Russell Simmons. And Jive Records, Barry Weiss and Kandada and Eric Skinner.
So I'm taking from what you just said, you're not going to be working with Canibus again, or you are going to do something.
I will. Again. He's my brother, but I just know what Redman said, be careful. I didn't know what he meant at the time, but I know now. Yo, if you know what's amazing?
No.
Puffy was LL's manager on his first album.
Oh,
you're
joking.
Read the credits?
I loved LL, but I didn't read the credits like that.
I'm a hip-hop history buff.
Is there any last words, anything you want to promote? You got a new single, Ghetto Mogul, out at the moment.
The new label, Ghetto Mogul, and I'm doing new NFTs, and I'm doing the show the 3rd, September 3rd. Triple Threat. Look, Read It and Weep with Keith Murray. What are you doing?
I was going to put it up for you.
I'm holding it. Here, man. I'm reading it. Alim Kamara, Michael the Energy, alongside New Vibes Band and DJ 279 at the 100 Club.
Any final words?
Assalamu alaikum.
All right, guys. Normally I say, if you want to find out more about the person, go and follow them. This time I'm going to say you don't really have an option. Go and follow Keith Murray. His Instagram account was hacked. So push the word out. Tell everybody to go and follow Keith Murray.
And Keith Murray Twitter, Keith Murray Facebook, and he's Keith Murray Instagram. And I dress better than any gay man. Shout out to the LBGC, LBDCGZ Rainbow Coalition.
And we didn't even get to talk about Def Jam and possible blacklisting and everything.
I'm not blacklisted. I'm listed black.
All right. So everybody, please subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to receive the notifications. Like, share, and get involved in the comment section below.
Go to my YouTube channel too, Keith Murray YouTube channel.
I'll get all the details and we'll put it in the description. So make sure you check the description.
Channel, you bloody geezers.
Something else in an English accent. You got 10 seconds.
Oi, mate. Oh, that's Australian?
Yeah, it's more Australian.
Are you taking a bubble? That's I knew it.
Oh, God.
Cheerios, mate. Peace.
Peace.
Wonderful.